What's interesting is that given how degraded the relations are and the level of anti-Russian propaganda on government media channels, it's a surprise that Russia remains the third most trusted military political ally. And the others are fluctuating widely, which makes me think that the government propaganda is having a significant effect in shaping the results that we are seeing in some of these polls.
Obviously, first of all, I think what is most interesting here is dynamics of Russia and Turkey. So on one hand, we see the growth of negative evaluations of Russian-Armenian relations and growth of positive evaluations of Armenian-Turkish relations. So currently, 31%, according to IRI poll, consider Armenian-Russian relations positive, good or somewhat good, and 27% consider Armenian-Turkish relations good or somewhat good. So basically, we are approaching to comparable numbers on one hand. On another hand, we see that among the political partners, 34% mentioned among important political partners. In the same IRI poll, mentioned Russia as important partner.
That's slide 51.
While just 4% mentioned Turkey. So what we see from here, that at least 34% consider Russia important partner, but fewer people see that Russian-Armenian relations are good. So according to people, Russian-Armenian relations should be improved. At the same time, if we look at Armenian-Turkish relations, only 4% consider political relations with Turkey as important, but 27% see that those are good or are improving. So basically, there is no public demand for either improving of relations with Azerbaijan or Turkey. I mean, improving. Well, basically, everyone wants these relations to be improved, but at what cost? In this format, let's say. Yeah. So, but they are going in a very, positive manner as of Armenian government, of course, because Turkey was one of co-actors of ethnic cleansings in Artsakh, and Turkey is definitely threatening Armenia, of attacking Armenia militarily every other day. And we have seen construction of new defensive lines along Armenian border in Armavir, between Armavir and Ivdir from Turkish side. So basically, Turkey is preparing for a new war. So in reality, people understand that, but the government is pursuing the policy of switching from Russia to Turkey, basically, not even to the West or France and so on. So that's just media. So of course, government propaganda is very important in shaping public opinion, what we see from here. But indirectly, we can see that. In addition to that, when we look at disaggregation by age, we see that if among the general population there is, let's say, 4% of those who consider relations with Turkey as important political relations. Among youth, it's only 1%. And there are significantly more such people among elderly, which you would not expect based on a pre-assumption that elderly are more conservative, while youth are more liberal and so on. But the thing is not being liberal or conservative, but the fact that that elderly are consuming the TV shows and government propaganda to much bigger scale.
Exactly.
So this is the reason. So basically, the whole picture is shaped by the government propaganda. Now, another thing is, on one hand, you would assume that, okay, there are objective reasons why Russian-Armenian relations would be assessed as bad. First of all, on Russian side, we see more and more discontent and more harsh statements. On the other hand, but again, on Turkish side, we also see such statements, but positive assessment of relations with Turkey is increasing, while with Russia is decreasing, and very quickly. On the other hand, the thing is that assessment of France and European Union and United States is positive, and ethnic cleansing in Artsakh did not affect those, but it affected Russians. Well, on one hand, we can say Russians were stationed in Artsakh and they did not prevent ethnic cleansing, which is, of course, a shame. And this would require long-term discussions and addressments in future. But at the same time, okay, what did the European Union do? On the same day when the ethnic cleansing was being conducted by the Azerbaijan, European Union has reassured officially that they support energy dialogue and they considered Azerbaijan their strategic partner. So European Union also did not, behave nicely in all this regard. And adding to that, Pashinyan has first time recognized Azerbaijan's territorial integrity in Prague in October 2022 as a demand of Charles Michel. So I think it's not the reality at all.
Yes.
Yes, Russia is partially guilty in ethnic cleansing in Artsakh, and I think no one can deny that. And I think European Union's role here is at least not less than Russians. And
Right.
if there is difference in these assessments, then we have a problem. So, and this problem is public opinion, which is based on media. And again, one thing is public opinion, another thing is measured public opinion, another thing is reported public opinion, and then another issue is to which extent the public opinion, as something really measurable, exists at all. So I think
Yes.
these results are reassuring us that all these public opinion shifts are first of all very unstable and highly subjective based on media consumption. So going back to what you said previously regarding the ninth slide in MPG poll, when there was discussion of who Armenia can rely on, military equipment gathering and so on. And Russia was one of the top countries, obviously, because, one thing when you ask about the emotional assessment, which is, how do you assess the relations with any of those countries? Another thing is when you put this thing on the ground and you ask about hard facts and, the things which are taking place in reality and in this current region. And
Yes.
here you cannot ignore Russia. You might want, but you cannot ignore Russia. You cannot ignore Iran. You cannot ignore Turkey, because these three empires have been shaping South Caucasus for the last 300 years. And basically nothing has changed. Of course, yes, we see Western powers, we see more and more China, we see India, and so on. But still, these three empires, Russia, Turkey, and Iran, will be shaping the region in any way. So Russian assessment here will be, of course, higher than when you assess just emotions.
Yeah. So it's still higher. My problem is that yes, even when you bring it more to the ground, as you say, and ask, okay, who is the most important security partner for Armenia? They're not going to say New Zealand, but it's still a little bit clouded by this propaganda. For instance, I'm looking at going back to the slide 55 for MPG. France is rated, and USA are rated above Russia, and India is nowhere to be found. So it's all, it doesn't make sense, but still, Russia is number 4. And I just want to mention that there was this article today published by Rand, or maybe it was yesterday. The headline is, "The US can't guarantee Armenia's security despite Azerbaijan's threats." And the closing, basically says that the West has to recognize and accept Armenia's multi-alignment and focus on areas where it can where it is comparably able and willing to deepen ties and foster stability. So I think that's a more nuanced and more reasonable suggestion of how to cooperate with the West. But when you say, when you have unrealistic expectations about support from France, 50% of the people think that France is Armenia's most important security partner.
Hope you enjoyed this short clip. Click on the link to listen to the entire episode. And remember, your support helps us get the word out. Please donate to us at podcasts.groom.org or scan the barcode on your screen. Please like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our content with your network. Thanks in advance.